Hi, this is Katie Weeks, your independent, close to my heart maker. And today I'm joining with Miranda Weber's virtual crop over at Myscrappylife, and the crop is back to what? And here are some of my inspiration colors that I received from Fran, and I am doing the Pinterest layout challenge. Now you'll notice I have my layout that I showed you from Pinterest. It was from Maureen O'Sullivan, and I'm leaving a link for you for that pin. And that's the one I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it with a lot of scraps. So I am pulling scraps from all sorts of things. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how I gutted one of these two Sapphire bases for my layout. So it was kind of hard to see that really dark cardstock, the ruler through that clear track, but I'm going from 10.5 to 1.5, and I have it lined up at 1.5 on the side, and then I go in 1.5 again, and I cut from 1.5 down to 10.5, and I do this all around all four sides, and that gives me plenty of room because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to trim off of my pattern paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim those off all the way around. So if you do me a couple favors, I'd like you to subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and welcome back if you're one of my subscribers, and hit that like button. I have some great things for you today, and I even have assignments for you at the end of this video. Yes, I'm a teacher, so how can I not have some assignments, especially when we're doing a layout about back to school? So I only made you watch one of those two layouts bases for the gutting, and I have some of my papers pulled out. This is for the left hand page, and I have another one for the right hand page, but I want to look at that base page. Now this is from the Smarty Pants paper pack. It kind of looks like a sheet of paper, and I was trying to have things all match that inspiration photo that Fran gave me for colors. When I saw that photo, I was like, oh, trying to decide what colors I had. And so I thought it was Bluebird, Sapphire, Nectarine, Honey Butter, and Lemonade, if I have to call them close to my heart colors. So you'll notice that this left-hand page, I trimmed off 1 inch from the right and 1 inch from the bottom. Now there's all of my papers for my right hand side. Now I don't really want this edge to my notebook paper. So for my right hand side of the layout, I'm going to cut 1 inch off the left side and then 1 inch off the bottom. So that's why I had flipped my paper over. And then that will make it look like I have one continuous page all the way across my left and my right 2-page layout. I hope that makes sense. So I only have that one ruled line down the left hand side. Okay, so I'm working with 2 mats, but I think I'm probably, for most of this start of the video, I'm only going to show you one at a time. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing that way a little bit more, and I want to get in close so you can kind of capture what I'm working on. So I'm going to glue down this frame and then go ahead and put down that base page. So I have papers that I'm pulling in from Smarty Pants, both the paper pack and the sticker sheet. I'm pulling in 4 Seasons Summer, which I don't even know if you can get it anymore. I know you cannot get the sticker sheet for sure, but I'm bringing in my Mix In paper pack as well. I'm part of the Makers with Heart collaboration, and for the month of August, we worked on mixing in our mix-in paper packs with our core paper packs in the catalog. And so I wanted to really feature how I can still use my mix-ins. So I'm using the July and August, the current mix-in paper pack with this today to do my layout. I'm also going to be bringing in some tag thin cuts, and you can get all of those over on my website. And I'm going to bring in some of those colors that I mentioned before for cardstock. I think I'm going to concentrate on the Sapphire and Nectarine, and I'll probably bring in a couple other things as well. So here's my little zip strip, my lemonade cardstock. I guess that was another color. And then this blue on blue plaid is from the Flower Shop. No, I'm sorry. It's from Four Seasons Summer. And I'm just going to dovetail the end of that piece of paper. So I think that paper measured like 2.5 inches for the height, and then I'm just going to dovetail it. And I decided once I added that border around the outside, it was a little bit too long. This zip strip was from Smarty Pants. Ooh, that darling polka dot paper with the zip strip on top. That was literally scraps out of my scrap bucket. And that also was from Four Seasons Summer. I absolutely loved that paper pack, and I literally have just tiny little scraps of paper left. So I had cut this down to 6 inches, and then once I got the whole layout together, I was like looking back at my inspiration sheet, I think I should have made it 7 inches. So what I decided to do is just cut it at 2 inches and then 4 inches, and you won't notice it underneath that blue paper anyways. So for the left and right side, instead of getting 2 more pieces of cardstock out, I just decided I would slice it and then hide that underneath my long blue banner. So that's exactly what I did. And I have that border going around the outside at Sapphire, and then I think I'm going to bring up this lemonade, this yellow, about 1 1/4 inch from the bottom of my layout. And then I'm leaving a 1 inch gap. And then I think the next one will start at like 4 1/4 inches. And then I'll put the zip strip across the top. So as I'm assembling this, I'll tell you that the theme for the crop was back to what? And it could be back to work, back to normal, back to school, back to whatever we want it to be. Well, I'm a teacher, so this week is officially back to school for me. So that's why I decided I would definitely do a school layout. I think I'm assembling this for my nephew who's a senior this year, and I'll be working on a scrapbook for him throughout this school year. And so I decided I would do a back to school layout. I usually, if I'm putting together scrapbooks for seniors, I have, a section with baby pictures. Then I have like a layout that's first days of school and all the different grades, if I can get the pictures from the mom to show first days of school. And so this one, I did not quite follow the layout that was like too cool for school was the title, and the title went across the 2 pages because I might put some sort of little tip in between these 2 pages, or I might use flip flaps or something for some extra pictures. So since I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, I wanted to make sure the title was exclusively on one side and not on the over the span of 2 pages. So I might even use like some of Close to My Heart's Pocket Plus pages that have some pictures going down, not across the whole layout, but just between the 2 sides, the left and the right. So I thought I would just keep the title all the way over to the left. as you're watching me assemble this other page, it's just the mirror image, basically. The blue strip here does not have a dovetail on it, but other than that, everything is pretty much the same thing. So I said I was back to school this week. So today being Saturday, I started yesterday with a teacher in service, and then I go Monday and Tuesday for more teacher work days and in service, and then on Wednesday this next week, that's when my students will come back. And I have 7th graders in technology class, and then I have high school students, and I teach personal finance most of the day. I have some kids for credit recovery or college credit plus that are working on some college classes, and they just need a study hall basically to go sit in. So I have some of them occasionally in the day, but then I have seniors for homeroom as well. And so I'm looking forward to another school year. And okay, so you can see how these pages are coming together. And the only thing I didn't like was I kind of would want that alphabet across the top to just continue. The left side ended on H, and I would want it to start with IJK because I'm too OCD, I guess. But there was no good way with just the 2 zip strips that I had that I could do that. So I just figured I could kind of let that go. And I think there's enough going on the page that other people might not notice that as well. So this is the paper from 4 Seasons Summer that will span the 2 pages, and it will be where I put my title. And I like that sticker that says off to school, and I actually have 2 sticker sheets. So I'm going to use both of them from the off to school. And I'm going to take this first one, and I'm grabbing one of my Spectrum Noir metallic paint markers. It's the 4mm silver marker, and I'm going to take that marker and just go around the very edges of this sticker. Now, this is one of those small little details that maybe the rest of the world won't notice, but I definitely will when I see this. It has some silver that you can see, and it just made it so that it wasn't stark white on white on that polka dot paper. So I went around the edges with that silver paint marker, and then I went ahead and put this down. And that's how I decided where to cut off that strip of paper on the left, and helped me decide how much to make it overflow to the right hand side. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now I can see how long this title is, and I can see approximately where I need to cut it so that I can put the remaining part over on the other right hand side of the layout. And this is from the 4 Seasons Summer paper. And so I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down, and I just have it at the top. I kind of made sure there was a little bit of that notebook paper type background above the sticker so that you could see just a little bit of that white peeking out. I lined it up like that when I was laying out the original thing to begin with. So here's why I like to buy sticker sheets with every paper pack, even if I buy multiples of a certain paper pack. I like to have the extra stickers to die cut, use some for more dimension or things like that. So for this one, the first thing I'm doing is taking my anti-static pouch and just taking the sticky off of the back of it. I don't do that a lot, but I do it a couple times on this layout, and I do it every once in a while. Now I'm going to cut off the words off to, so that I simply have the word school. This is why I buy the multiples, so I can make that word school stand up, and I can use it with some extra dimension. I thought about cutting out the letters. I just didn't know if I could do it clean enough. And then I decided I would just pop up the word school. So I'm going to put my foam tape on the back, and you'll notice something new here in just a second. I'm going to edge this with the silver as well. And I got a little bit on there, but I'll cover that up with a sticker. No worries. So I'm going around here, and you're going to see something new. When I cut that first piece of foam tape, I literally cut into my thumb as well. So I'm trying to put this silver around here without getting blood on my sticker. So I peel this off, I put it down, then I go get a Band-Aid, and I'm ready to keep scrapbooking, but I just didn't want to get any blood on my layout because it just wouldn't look that pretty. And here we are, back with a Band-Aid. And I'm bringing in a little pencil and just the tiniest bit of foam tape, being careful where I cut so I don't cut myself. And I'm going to put foam tape on the bottom and the top of that little pencil, but not in the middle where I need to put it over the sticker that's already elevated with foam tape. I hope that makes sense. So I'm just going to cover up that little smudge of silver that I have on the word school. It's right there on the L. Okay, but you see, that's why I do the extra sticker sheets so that I can add more dimension when I need to. And I did go around with the silver on both of them to help make it stand out a little. Very good. So I like that for the title, and I made sure it was all on the left side and it didn't overflow, kind of like my Pinterest inspired layout had. They had the title that went across both pages. So I will just put some more embellishments up top, and I think that'll look nice. Now I'm going to add some triangles, kind of like what they had on my inspiration piece. So I have a few different triangles here, and I'll show you what I did. So the first thing I did was my Nectarine cardstock. I had those as 2.5-inch squares, and I just come in with my cutter, put the 2 points in where it's going to cut, and put my blade down and cut. And that's how I did these triangles. So for the one that's more, I don't know what you would say. I think it was more Sundance, No, Honey Butter. That one was a 3-inch square, and I did the same thing. Notice when I drop my blade, I drop it in the middle. If I go right into a corner, I could crunch that corner. So I start in the center and then I go up and down. Now this is a different type of triangle. I don't teach math. I don't know what kind of triangles each of these are, but I will show you how I cut them. So this one is 3.25-inch square. And so I found where halfway is, which is 1 5/8. Right there. 1 5/8 is the center, and I'm not using the cutting blade, I'm using the scoring blade. And I'm just going to make a tiny little mark on one end for the scoring blade, and that is my center point. So I'm going to take that center point and go down to one corner, and now I'm going to bring in my cutting blade. And I'm going to drop it and go all the way through. And then again from the center point down to the other corner. And I will start at the top or drop my blade in the center is what I like to do. And then slice through, and then I get that other type of triangle, whatever it's called. And I cut a couple of those for this layouts too. So that's how I cut my triangles, and those were the types of triangles that they had on the inspiration layout. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting these down. I had 2 triangles at the top left side of the layout. I had 2 triangles at the bottom left of the right hand side of the layout, And then I have some striped of these tall 3 1/4 inch triangles. One right beside the title, and then one facing down on the right hand page, and then another one that'll be in the Nectarine that's facing out to the side. And I just basically followed how they had it on the inspiration piece. I didn't necessarily keep my same color palettes with everything, but that's how I chose how to do mine. So I hope you're enjoying our virtual crop this weekend at Myscrappylife. I will leave a link to that Facebook group if you are watching this video and you're not part of that virtual crop. I would like to invite you to come and join us, and feel free to jump into the Zoom rooms, and we just have a good time getting together, and we have people doing different challenges all weekend. So I will go ahead and give you your first assignment. I told you I was a teacher. I'll give you your first assignment, and that is to go to your Pinterest board. Make sure you find something and recreate it. Now, a lot of times on these virtual crop weekends, people try to recreate the crop that the layout that I do, and that's fine too. If you want to try to duplicate the layout that I have, you can do that. I didn't do a lot of measurements on things simply because I was using scraps, and I just tried to use whatever I had for scraps. But I did kind of take Maureen's layout and use that as an inspiration piece. So here I am just putting down some photo squares, and I just put a tiny bit of adhesive behind these so I know the size of photos that go there. And then I can stick them down further if I want to use them as mats, and I trim my photos down some, or I can pull them up and put my photos in those spots. So I needed to put them down so that I could figure out where to put my triangle up here beside my title. So that's what I didn't follow exactly how the inspiration piece had the photos, but I like to keep larger photos as much as possible. So I did 2 4x6 photos, 2 4x4 photos, and 1 3x4 photo for the whole 2-page layout. So I usually stick to bigger photos if possible. I usually I don't know. I think I get in close to things, and so I don't usually crop a lot out of my photos. And sometimes I make them smaller, like 3x4, but only if I have to fit a layout for the most part. So here's my right hand page, and I'm going to go ahead and start assembling some of those items just like I did before. I've got the triangles, and then there will be some tags that I need to go cut. So the Zoom rooms are usually open more in the evenings. Some of us get in there during the days as well, in the daytime as well. It just kind of depends on everybody's schedule. But some people are, in other time zones too. We even have people from like Australia, and so we have people in all different time zones, so people are getting in all weekend. And so just jump in, introduce yourself, and tell us what you're working on for your scrapbook page, and we just kind of work on our crafty projects and get to know people, and we'll ask each other for ideas or ask their opinion and say, what do you think? Does this fit on my layout, or should I use this one? And it's just a great time. It's, not quite the same as being in person, but it is still a great alternative. And for me, on a busy weekend like this with school starting back, this is like the perfect type of crop, because I would never sign up to physically go to a crop on a back to school weekend. There's no way. I just can't fit it in. But I am able to do things and still participate in the virtual crop. So Friday, I worked all day. Friday night, I was babysitting my granddaughters and going to a football game. And then this morning, I went to my nephew's football game. But I'm still able to get in and chat with people and watch the classes. Even when I'm traveling, I can watch the classes and learn from people. And I just think this is a great alternative. And I really enjoy it. Thank you, Miranda, for organizing these and giving us a good theme and giving us some great challenges that we can work on. I really enjoy it. Hopefully tomorrow I can get in the Zoom room some too. That's the plan. We'll see. I will usually have a pretty long to-do list with school starting up, but at least I just have teacher days for Monday and Tuesday, so that helps a little bit, I think. Okay, so here I'm putting in my triangle. This is the one that was upside down, and I was just trying to make sure I had enough room between the orange, I guess it's nectarine and honey butter triangles, and then still scooch over that sapphire striped one enough and have it peek out from underneath the photo. I think I like it there. That seemed to work pretty good. I really like the color combination that Fran gave me because I told you I was working on this for my nephew. So I think the navy and bluebird and all the blues, I think that'll work great for him. I think he would really like this. And it'll work great for his scrapbook. And he is such a book nerd, so I think he's going to like some of the embellishments that I add in just a little bit as well. So here I'm putting down another photo spot. This one actually has a photo mat. It's the only one that showed a mat on the inspiration piece. And so this one is my little 3x4 photo. So I'm going to stick that down up here. So what are you scrapbooking this weekend? Feel free to leave it in the comments. I actually upload this video as a premiere. That's something kind of new that I've started playing with. And so you are able to get on if you join me during the initial posting of this YouTube video at 5:30 Eastern Time on Saturday evening. You can get in and I will be in the chat, the live chat. And if you are logged into your Google account, you can actually chat with me. You can ask me some questions, why I did something, how I choose my colors, things like that. So feel free to jump in and chat along with me. I'd love to answer your questions and get to know you and meet you. So here I'm working on, I'm trying to see, just adding a few little things. I'm using my 3D foam tape on the back of my stack of books. So my nephew loves to read. He loves to read a lot of things that are political, related to, I believe, the Marines. He loves to read things about presidents. He loves history and politics. So I thought the books would be perfect for his layout. So I have that little stack of books and I popped those up with some 3D foam tape. And I think the next thing I need to do, oh, we can add a few more embellishments here. I'm going to decide how I'm going to put some of these together. Okay, so now I'm going to be working with these 2 sticker sheets to come up with some embellishments. I know I like that book and I just have to figure out where I want to put the open book. The next thing, I like that airplane. I'm going to put some things up in that top left-hand corner on the 2 triangles. I know you can only see one of them. There's a little alarm clock that I put up there. There's a sticker that says back to the books that goes up in that left-hand corner. And then I'm going to put, to extend my title block, I'm going to put this backpack and a little lunch sack. And I like how that looks. And I'm trying to decide. The globe, I really like that. So I'm going to stick that down at the bottom, and I actually put it as far down as I can. That way it doesn't look like it's kind of flying. And I try to make sure my embellishments, when it's a cluster, I kind of make sure they touch, if that makes sense, so that they overlap just a tiny bit. And here I am taking the sticky off of the back of some stickers. Well, I'm going to put the stickers together in a cluster, and then I'm going to take the sticky off of them and use them in a minute. But I have a crayon, a paintbrush, and a pair of scissors. So kind of like some art supplies is what I'm thinking there. I thought about adding a cell phone, and I thought some of the pictures might be more grade school, so I don't think I want to use a cell phone. And then I see there's a couple of tags. There's like 2 tags on the left and 1 tag on the right. So I'm going to go and cut 3 different tags. So I cut the smallest tags from Tags and Tabs Thin Cut set, and then I'm going to cut the largest tag from the Buildable Tags Thin Cut set, and those are all, I believe, still available on my website. So then here's that open book. I think that's going to work. I'm going to put it right here, and I told you I like everything to touch. I'm going to pop that up onto some 3D foam tape. They had some little definition stickers, so I ended up pulling out the definition for book, and I stuck that down. Then I used the 3D foam tape on the back of that open book, and I'm going to pop it up and just put it right above the word book. And this looks like a pretty good cluster now on the right to me. And you can see those little tags that I have added. My little art supplies are on a tag, and all of these little tags I put the little reinforcers on as well. Those are extra thin cuts, and I don't always cut those, but I did today. I thought it just added a little something. The Sapphire print is from the back of the striped Sapphire paper from the current mix-in paper pack. And then the graph paper, I believe that was also from Smarty Pants as well. So I'm not going to make you watch me tie things on all of the tags, but I took the crochet thread that's Sapphire and put that through each of these tags, and then I took the silver embellishing thread and I kind of tied a bow around the around the Sapphire crochet thread after I had tied it on, and then I trimmed up the edges to all of them. So I did that for all 3 tags. I just won't make you sit through watching all 3 tags the same exact process. What do you like to tie on your tags? I usually use like crochet thread or ribbon. Close to My Heart doesn't carry a lot of ribbon anymore, but I do still have a stash of ribbon. I like to add that. It sometimes adds a lot of bulk depending on how you tie it on. I have taken some paper or cardstock and made it look like it was tied, but kind of manipulated it and tied it around and through the tags, and I really like how that looks, especially in a scrapbook. So if you haven't tried that before, that's something you might want to try. It's just kind of fun. So the nice thing about not putting much adhesive under these photo spots is I could really tuck things underneath. It was really easy to wedge them in, and I didn't have to cut off all of those tags too much. Now there was the large tag over on the left. That one was just too big. I couldn't work with it that big, and the one on my inspiration page looked like they had cut it down some, so I do end up cutting that down. So I trimmed that one down, and then I tied all the rest of the tags up with the embellishments, and then I'm ready to do a little bit more embellishing. I think I need to add something else. Do you remember when I went around that title block with the silver metallic marker? Well, I decided to bring in some silver. So I'm doing some more stash diving here, and I dug into my stash and I found the Stargazer compliments, and there was a whole sheet of stickers that were like silver foil, and I really like these stickers. I thought it worked great. So I peeled off this large arrow and added that under my title. I thought that was really, I like to use a lot of stars and arrows and things like that for boys. I think that worked really great. And then I'm going to come, and this was just kind of like a hexagon, and I thought, oh, you know, school shapes, crayons, colors, you know, all the different things you learn. So I tucked that little hexagon in on the one tag. I grabbed a star and put it up here with this cluster. I don't know if you noticed, I did add another sticker to that backpack as well, a little like lightning bolt flash type sticker. That one was from the Smarty Pants. Then I added some stars down to these other tags, and I kind of made sure that the stars connected all the tags together. Again, those clusters, I like them to touch and overlap some, so I kind of used those stars to connect those two tags together in that cluster. And then I used one over by that book definition. And yeah, I think those stars really bring that silver out and accentuate it a little bit on the page. I really like how that turned out. So I think that's about it. I like the 3 different elements. I had the cluster on the left, the cluster on the right, then the title block with another cluster in the far top left as well. So you have stuff all across the top as well. And I think this works pretty good. I'll give you some close-ups of some of those clusters. And you can see that back to the books sticker. That one was kind of off screen a little bit. You can see where that title is popped up on the foam tape, and how I made that title kind of with stickers extend into the next page without actually having the words extend. So here's my final layout, and here are my final assignments. Please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video, and make sure you subscribe to my channel and you hit that bell to turn on all the notifications so you'll be notified every time I upload a crafty video. Please leave me a sweet comment below and share this video with your crafty friends as well. It's free, why not share it?